America's borders have been closed since the beginning of the pandemic, but now the country is finally opening its borders to international tourists again. While not everyone is allowed to enter the country when it reopens on November 8th, many nationals from countries with low COVID cases and high vaccination rates will be allowed to enter the United States on November 8th. Today we're going to have a look at who can enter the United States by air and land. I really do think this is great news for the ones who have been waiting for such a long time. You know, the United States had closed its borders since the beginning of the pandemic, and really only citizens and residents were allowed to enter during the hardest time that we encountered over the past 18 months. Here's the good news. Fully jabbed travelers are allowed to enter the United States for leisure purposes on November 8th. And here are the countries. Now we're talking about non-US residents that would like to come to the country for leisure purposes. Non-US residents, non-US citizens arriving to the United States from the following countries will be allowed to enter if they spend at least 14 days in these countries. All member countries of the European Union, the United Kingdom, Ireland, South Africa, Brazil, Iran, China, and India. If you're traveling from any of the countries that I just mentioned, you'll be granted access to the United States if the following conditions are met. You've been fully jabbed with either Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. As of right now, the United States does not accept any other vaccines. So if you've been jabbed with any other vaccines than the three that I just mentioned, guess what? You won't be allowed into the United States. I know this is not good news. Children under the age of 18 are exempt. They don't need to be vaccinated. They can just come with you. Non-leisure travelers from 50 countries with a vaccination rate below 10% are also exempt from the vaccination requirement. The United States also mentioned that no religious exemptions are being made, meaning, let's say you don't want to get vaccinated or you can't get vaccinated for medical reasons. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You're just not allowed to enter the United States from the list of 33 countries that I gave you before. If you want to travel to the United States and you are in any of the 33 countries that I mentioned, then you need to be vaccinated. There's really no other option for you. Land border restrictions will be lifted again. So if you are a leisure traveler coming from Canada, Mexico into the United States, you need to be vaxxed. But if you're vaxxed, you're allowed into the United States again. There's no PCR test, no quarantine required. This is really good news considering how long Canadians and Mexicans were not allowed to enter the United States. Please note that these rules can really change at any time, depending on the current COVID situation in the United States. So if you've been waiting to enter the United States, I think this is fantastic news for you. And one of the things that I also should mention is when you've gotten the vaccine, you really need to wait for at least 14 days before you can travel to the United States. In example, if you've been vaccinated on November 1st, you would have to wait until November 15th before you can enter the United States. Leisure travelers coming from the 50 countries with a vaccination rate below 10% are allowed to come in. However, they must get vaccinated in the United States within 60 days. Are you planning to visit the United States this winter? What do you think about the entry requirements? Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, and visas several times a week right now. Before I let you go, I got two recommendations for you. Recommendation number one, I shot a video on countries where you can live on as little as $1,000 a month. These are great places where you can live on a tight budget. If you want to watch this video, click on the link right here. Two, I shot another video on countries without entry restrictions. If you want to find out what these countries are, click on the link right here. Thank you for watching.